Welcome to She-Hulk. Obviously, I am caught up on the show. I've watched all the episodes before this. Oh. Oh, lucky you. Oh my gosh. How much glitter did you put in this thing?
I want to see the super suit that he made you.
Really annoying to me that they did not show any of the outfits that she got in the last one.
My cousin Chet is DJing the wedding.
What?
Yes,
Great.
but we just felt obligated to say yes because how do you say no to being a bridesmaid?
You just say
Yeah, you just say no.
I just hate that Mallory is having. And if you think this is happening at an inconvenient time in the season, you're right, because that's how weddings always are. I'm gonna look great. So
All right, that was pretty funny. I do love all the fourth wall breaking. That's one thing that made She-Hulk in the comics really great. It works for me here in the show. She not happy about the She-Hulk angle? What?
no one's gonna be looking at me. All eyes are gonna be on you. It's
Ah, come on, Jen. You know that's not true.
it's my big day.
Well, I don't like her very much.
Obviously, this is the one time I didn't want to show up as just Jen.
Just Jen. That's kind of mean-spirited, I feel like, but it's funny.
It is, but I go by Mr. Immortal. It's pithier.
Rather interesting character from the comics. Curious to see what they do with him here.
I did several times. In fact, it could be said that no one has tried more than me. Probably literally.
What? That's not like his comic book character at all. I mean, well, he slept around a little bit in the comics, but...
Whoa. I don't kill myself. I'm immortal.
Right.
I can't die. Die, but only in the legal sense.
So you die.
So you do die.
Die, but only for a little... Kind of die. But I do die.
Did you ever feel?
I thought that lawyers were supposed to not be judgmental.
No, they just have to represent you.
Yeah, lawyers can be as judgmental as they want.
Relationship.
That is so messed up.
Oh, there he goes. He's only gonna be dead for a second, don't worry about it. Why'd they have to PG that of the, like, I wanted to see, like, bones sticking out and, like, big cuts healing up and all that. Like, that might sound a little twisted, but, I mean, come
We
on.
know how he does.
I don't really like that they made him like that, though, because in the comics, he's like an upstanding, actually cool dude. Like, he's not, I don't know, a misogynistic
Actually, I'm the head of a new department.
fucking weirdo.
Nuts.
No, I didn't mean any. I didn't want that. Like, are you dating a guy, a boy? Is there a boy in your life?
Oh, so that's all you care about? Okay.
No.
Lulu, Team Edward or Jacob?
Edward.
Oh my! Let it rest.
Any effort at all?
Why are you here?
Is my friend's very real wedding.
Sounds insane right now.
I mean, it's obvious that she is
Show
here
up
to
my
fuck with
wedding,
Jen,
you know,
but,
try and kill you or something. I don't
Jen,
know.
you shouldn't just
I'm literally just
come at her
here to
sideways like
celebrate
that
the
so
love of
quickly.
Lulu
Like,
and
at
your
least give her a
groom.
chance to be an
That's
asshole
all,
first.
okay?
Now you just look crazy.
Not everything is about you, Jennifer.
Whatever.
Oh, sorry.
I still haven't perfected the least awkward way to approach a stranger.
Oh. Yeah, could use a little work.
Somewhat
yeah.
charming, a little creepy as
Work
well.
on that for
What's
that.
going on here?
Next time I bungle another intro.
Cool.
I don't mind. See, my plan was to strike up a very normal conversation with a beautiful woman stuffing her face with candied nuts.
Oh my gosh, Jen.
That was pretty smooth. I kind of like him.
Do you think you could help me like clean some stuff up around here, straighten up, take up some of these empties, like tidy up?
Excuse
I
me?
could really use your help with something inside.
You'd be lucky if I stayed after that. And can you clean up all this stuff for me? Thanks. Like, excuse me, am I a friend or a bridesmaid or am I your fucking servant? Like, what?
My friend sent me a link to a video posted on that site, Intelligentsia.
The one for hateful man babies?
Yep, that's the one. Anyway,
Is this
he
a real
saw this
website? I
man
actually
walk
don't know
into
what
a
it is.
busy
Identities. Frankly, all of these spouses should be filing criminal charges. You are lucky you're not in prison.
I will never understand women if I live to be
Yeah, I don't really like the direction they've gone with the character. Like, I understand it's kind of funny, but to me it's just more annoying, and he's not like that in the comics at all.
I am?
Yeah,
What?
go bride spot.
Thank you so much.
Again, not the servant. I would drop the glass, shatter it. I would throw it at them. Like, they are all irritating the shit out of me. The dog is ugly as hell and very cute. Oh, that's Jonathan. Oh, I'd be fine with it.
Use the word mistake. You don't use the word mistake.
Yep, you're not killing yourself again. Sit down. What?
Of course.
What kind of wedding is this? I feel you, Jen. You're making decent money as a lawyer. Just spend it all on booze.
Okay, Mallory?
That all work for you?
It better.
Is that the absolute best you can do on eye contact?
And so, Amy, that's 20 seconds of eye contact.
So we're gonna
That
increase
seems
that a little bit.
Interminable doubt about that, but I truly did love each and every.
Yeah, shut up, man.
Joshua.
Oh gosh, you were so drunk.
You know, I don't have a boyfriend or a husband or
Oh,
whatever.
good to know.
Let me tell you a secret.
I don't know. I think you're pretty great.
Aw, finally, someone nice. I feel like every character on this show is so fucking mean to her. This is finally someone nice. Oh, damn. Okay. Now, she was not transformed into She-Hulk right there.
Knew it.
How is your face not busted, like, in half?
Publicly destroy you.
Ugh, you suck.
I'm not fair and square. Get over it.
Yeah, you're not even a good villain. Like, get out. Oof.
Everything for me for something that you don't even want, something you don't even deserve. So now
So that's your angle?
So green up.
Little cliche. It's not exactly the most interesting way to do it, but sure. I'm having a little trouble.
How to do it.
All right. Oh, cool. Bugger up. Oh, is that dude okay? Okay, she just got punched in the face by She-Hulk. There is no way that... What? How would falling on the floor injure her more than a fist from She-Hulk? They do that a lot in Marvel stuff, where someone gets, like, punched 20 feet, but then will, I don't know, like, stumble and, like, break their ankle. No, she's just also really drunk. Huge boobs.
Hold on, you have children? You have a child. You have kids. Mallory, book us.
Yeah, that's...
questions.
No. I have more questions. That's different than the comics.
Wait, I gotta look at this. Hulking? Wait, what the
And
hell?
did they really use the Jurassic Park sound? Oh, the cancel culture, the hatred. Now, I guarantee there's going to be people that see this scene and be like, oh, how heavy-handed, how, you know, how hard are they going to shove the feminism and their message, like, down my throat?
Nikki, they're just trolls.
But literally, when the trailer for this show came out, stuff like this popped up all over Reddit, so I think it's pretty pertinent.
Careful, don't hurt yourself.
You know what? I hope this works out. He seems like a decent dude. Hulk King. Now, who could that be? I have my theory. As a person who's terrified of needles, hell no. I have to admit, I feel like it's another episode that, while I don't think it was bad, it was kind of, it was alright. Well, as I said, you know, once again, I feel like this episode isn't really bad, but it isn't really good either. It's kind of just in between. It's very, it's alright. There were definitely some aspects about the episode that I liked more than others. Immortal Man was a big no for me. That is not at all what the character is like in the comic books. And so to turn him into this, I don't know, misogynistic immortal incel, that was really weird. Again, I understand the show is majorly about feminism and about, you know, shitty men. But I think it's important to not showcase every single man as a horrible piece of shit. Specifically, a character from the comics that is a cool dude in the comic books. Like, you just completely destroyed his character, like, for a joke. Which in some cases, it can sort of work. And in the cases of that character, I think it was a poor decision. But there were some funny moments in it, don't get me wrong. It's mostly the character of Nikki that really pushed those scenes for me. She's just very charismatic, very nice, friendly. I enjoy whenever she's on screen. And I like how at the end she was just like, hey, she told me not to tell you, but obviously I didn't do that, so call me when you get this. Most of the stuff at the wedding I wasn't a fan of, but there were some things in there that I was. Something I both liked and disliked was the fact that, like, every guest at the wedding, aside from Josh, was really mean. Like, they were all so mean to Jennifer. Again, I very well might have left after, what was her name, Lulu? The bride was like, can you clean up and can you do this? And then the other bridesmaids are like, you're on ironing duty, right? Excuse me. Like, I enjoyed it because there were the occasional moments that the ridiculousness of how, like, rude and mean everyone was kind of funny. But I felt like more often than not, I was just frustrated. I'm like, Jen, why are you putting up with this? Why are they... I mean, I know she said they grew apart and they're not really friends anymore, but again, if that's the case, say no to being a bridesmaid, first of all. And two, leave when they start treating you like shit. I do realize that Jen as a character is very down on herself, and that's something she's more than likely going to have to overcome either by the end of the season or, you know, in future movies or something. And sometimes I do like that. I sympathize with characters who don't have a whole lot of self-confidence. I myself lack self-confidence sometimes. But I don't know, with Jennifer, it's kind of frustrating because, again, she's just being treated so terribly by these people who are supposed to be her friends, and she just puts up with it. Like, she just allows it to happen. She never tells them at any point, like, hey, don't treat me like that, don't talk to me like that. They never have any sort of karmic justice for being so rude and mean. So I don't know, the whole vibe of it all was like, oh, haha, it's so funny to be mean to the shy person. And I don't know, it just wasn't quite doing it for me. Josh as a character I like. I sincerely hope he's not going to be revealed to be Hulk King, because if the one nice guy, aside from the other lawyer at the office, if like the one nice guy also turns out to just be horrible, I don't know, that'll just be kind of frustrating to me. Because I am very much in the men do suck category, but at the same time, there are degrees of suck. I suck, but in a way that I feel is amicable to the other people around me. And then you have people like Trump who just suck so much that, you know, I wish they didn't exist. And I feel like almost every man on this show falls much more towards the Trump end of the spectrum, and I don't know, it's just a little frustrating that there's not any nuance to it. It's just all guys are bad, and honestly a lot of the women on this show are also mean and bad. It's basically just your main characters, and even then sometimes they're not very nice. I feel like the show in general has a bit of a nice problem. Like, there are so many characters that are just so fucking rude. Like, it's a little annoying to watch sometimes. I'm glad we got a little bit of a fight scene between Titania and She-Hulk. One, because they are, you know, arch rivals in the comics. I'm very surprised we didn't get this fight scene in the first episode or in the fifth one when she showed up again. But I was pretty disappointed that the fight is extremely lackluster, in my opinion. There's almost nothing fun about it to watch. Even the song choice they made, like, it made me chuckle in the moment. But at the end of the day, I'm like, this is just too silly, dude. I'm fine with silly. I enjoy my silly Marvel stuff. But, I don't know, a lot of this show feels like it can't take itself seriously even for a second, and that does bother me. Titania as a whole is just a character I'm like, what the hell is going on with this character? She dresses like a clown. Her makeup and hair do not look good, but she's supposed to be this influencer who has super strength. Like, why did she show up in the courthouse in the first episode? Why does she act the way she does? I don't know. It's like a spoof on an influencer, but I can't think of a single influencer that is, I don't know, this bad at being an influencer, if that makes any sense. The whole character in general to me is just not doing it. I do not like it. And I was really frustrated with her, like, busting out her veneers on the floor. Like, again, you 2 seconds ago got punched by She-Hulk in the mouth and were thrown like 10 feet into another person, but you looked perfectly fine after that. But then when you yourself trip and gravity is what pushes your face into the ground, that's what breaks your veneers. It's just too silly. Again, I'm sure it's meant to be a joke, but again, I'm like, can we take any of this seriously? Just for 2 seconds, can we take one aspect of this seriously? And I think there's tons of potential here. Honestly, I feel like that's been the case with a lot of Disney stuff here lately. Like Thor Love and Thunder, I'm like, there's a lot of potential in this movie to be great, but I think it's a bad movie. I think it is very not good and very not funny. I think even Miss Marvel sometimes didn't take itself seriously enough. Doctor Strange didn't take itself seriously enough, even though there were people literally being murdered in that movie. I feel like Marvel in general is too much focused on the silly, whimsical side of everything, which I am okay with, but the writing is starting to suffer because of that, and it's really starting to frustrate me. But anyways, let's jump into the technicals so I can discuss, in detail what I did and didn't like here. Writing in the episode, I don't think it was super great. They had that one fourth wall break to literally tell you this is going to be a standalone wedding episode, but I don't think that's enough of an excuse to completely halt the pretty non-existent plot on this show in order to just do a wedding episode. Especially when it doesn't seem like they did much of anything with the wedding. The only real progression to the story I'm seeing in this episode is that she met Josh and seems to like him, he seems to like her, and these, evil scientists who are trying to get her blood have now made a new needle, and they're getting close to attacking again. And that's just not enough plot for an episode, in my opinion. There needed to have been more to happen here, because nothing even really happened with Titania. I suppose you could argue now we know why Titania has it out for Jennifer, but I don't know. It seemed like a very stereotypical reason in the first place, like, oh, everyone paid attention to me, and now they pay attention to you, and you don't even want it. I'm like, how many times have I seen that before? Come on. Or again, if you're going to do that and have Titania be like a super shallow character, then at least give me a super shallow but really awesome fight scene to look at. And the whole B plot of this episode with Immortal Man, I just did not like that. It seemed like they really wanted to make a certain type of joke, so they just grabbed whatever character they could find. So now forevermore on the MCU, Immortal Man has to be this piece of shit dumbass. So any of his storylines from the comics are pretty much just gone now, which it frustrates me. It really frustrates me, because there are characters from the comics that are meant to be silly jokes. You could have used one of them. Not Immortal Man. For the writing, I'm going to go for a 4 out of 10. Again, I know that's really harsh, but I'm just trying to be fair. Editing on this episode, there was nothing good or bad, I would say. It was all serviceable, did what it was meant to do, but nothing really fancy about it. Like, I thought the fight scene was edited together pretty well. It wasn't super rapidly cut or really awkward in places, which a lot of fight scenes can tend to be. But yeah, like I said, nothing great, nothing bad. I'll go for 7 out of 10. Cinematography in this episode, I'm not gonna lie, while I think the framing was all either textbook or pretty decent, like a lot of Marvel stuff, I feel like the lighting was just very, very flat. Everything was lit with this white, plain light. There was never anything really dramatic or angular about the shadows. Like, it was all just very, almost sitcom-y kind of lit. Just very flat lighting all around, which not a fan of, because there are some shows like Moon Knight and Falcon and the Winter Soldier which did some really, really cool stuff with their cinematography and their lighting and all that. So to go back to this very bland look, it's a little frustrating. Now again, there's nothing about the cinematography, at least framing-wise, that is bad. It is all very serviceable. It's just the lighting is super uninspired, and therefore all the shots don't really have a vibe or a tone to them. It's kind of just a snapshot of real life, essentially. So for cinematography, I'll do a 6 out of 10. Acting in the episode, no one really got a chance to shine in any major way, because again, a lot of the show is silly. Like, it's not meant to be taken seriously. The actors and the characters don't take it seriously. Everyone's just kind of being goofy and having a fun time. Even more serious characters like Mallory Book, it's all about how her seriousness makes everything around her funny, because no one else is serious like her. So yeah, I don't really see anyone who's able to shine in terms of acting in this show, at least not yet. Obviously, Tatiana Maslany has had the most opportunities and has done a great job with what she's had. But in this episode in particular, I'm like, she just gets drunk and is frustrated for a lot of the episode. I don't think anyone acting-wise really blew me away. And I, honest to God, cannot tell if Jamila Jamil is just a bad actor or if her character is just meant to be exactly like that. Either way, something's not working with that. And I don't know if I should fault the acting in that case or if she is doing the absolute best with what she's got. I feel like she could be doing better. For acting, I'm gonna do a 6 out of 10. Costumes and makeup. I mean, I have to admit, every time they dress She-Hulk, she looks great. Thus far, she has always looked great. Even in like the big baggy suit that she was wearing for those 2 episodes, she still looked great. And I know you can't technically attribute that to costumes and makeup since it's all CGI. But someone had to design the clothes, damn it. Visual effects artists are very talented, but they are not fashion experts, or at least not often. So I think they almost always dress She-Hulk very well. Jennifer, on the other hand, I think it's intentional that she almost never looks as good or as confident as She-Hulk. And I won't say too much about it just because I feel like by the end of the show she might find that inner self-confidence, which will put to bed any issues I have. But so far, it is a little frustrating how every time Jennifer walks out, she looks very bland. And then when She-Hulk walks out, she looks great. I'm like, Jennifer, you could both look great if you wanted to. Bruce looks fine. Bruce looks good as a human as much as he does as Hulk. Well, that's not entirely true. He looks way better as Hulk, but that might just be me. But I'm going to have to seriously lower the score of the costume department because of what they're doing with Titania. Because, oh my god, dude. Again, I think the point is for her to look like a clown. But that makes no sense to me if she's supposed to be this super popular, super powered influencer. She should look great. She should actually be somebody that at first glance someone's like, oh my god, I want to be her. And she looks terrible. She looks awful. I'm so sorry, Jamila Jamil. I'm not shitting on you, I promise. I'm sure you look great in your normal life. But oh my god, her character looks terrible on this. Like, I personally think it's probably the worst bit of costuming and character design I have ever seen in the MCU. And there have been some pretty bad duds in there, but like I really dislike what they do with that character. So what would have been an 8 out of 10 thanks to She-Hulk's outfits is going to drop down to a 5 out of 10 because of what they're doing with Titania. 'Cause like I said, man, it's really awful. Set design, I think it's great. It's clear that when it comes to Disney projects, they have some very talented set designers and enough money to either, rent out the real life location or build a very, very nice set for it. And this show is no different. There's nothing, at least in this episode, that stands out as, very whoa to me. I've always loved the look of the, what is it? GLHK? What is the name of the firm? GLK&H. I've always liked the look of the firm. It's very modern, all glass windows and extremely sleek. But it's not super inspired, and the wedding venue and all that also wasn't super inspired. It's a pretty standard country club looking wedding. So I think they certainly could have done better, but what they had was fine. Like, it was good. So I'll do a 7 out of 10. Visual effects. And this was a tough one. I see a lot of criticism on the way She-Hulk's visual effects look. But maybe it's just me, but I feel like they look very good on this show. Obviously there are some moments where I'm like, that doesn't look the best. But sort of in general, I don't seem to have that complaint with modern storytelling as much as a lot of other people. And in terms of the way She-Hulk looks on this show, I don't know, I feel like, for the most part, it looks pretty damn good. Like, her fight scene with Titania, I thought She-Hulk herself looked good through all of it. Like, didn't look super fake or weird. There was one part when she leaps at Titania, the The way her body moves certainly looked a bit artificial, and I think they could have improved on that. But in general, it looks very good. There's also a lot of shortcuts that this show takes to not have to do visual effects, which I find kind of weird, because if there was like a budget issue, then just make the series 6 episodes like all the other ones. Then you could have longer episodes and focus on the effects a little bit more, like if that's the issue. I don't know. But like I said, I think the visual effects that are here and present, I think they look pretty damn good. I'm gonna go for an 8 out of 10. And finally, the sound design. There are aspects of this show that I like and don't like. The theme song for Titania, I absolutely hate. Whatever that bubbly, like, electronic noise is that they seem to always use for, like, influencer type characters, I'm pretty sure that it was, like, the exact same sounds used for Zoe in Miss Marvel. I'm actually almost positive about that. And I hate it. I'm like, who decided that this was the sound for influencers? Because it just bubbly and poppy and it's just gross. Like, it does not sound good at all. And in general, the music on this show seems to be meant to be kind of corny, a little bit cheesy, which I'm fine with. But because of that, like a lot of the stuff on this show, I just can't take it very seriously, because it's meant to just either be laughed at or something that makes you smile and just enjoy yourself. Like, it's not meant to be really good. It's just, you know, being as cheesy and hokey as possible. So for that reason, I don't think it's bad and I don't think it's good. So I'm going to do another 7 out of 10. And that gives this episode a 6.3 out of 10. I'm starting to do my reviews a little bit more harshly. I don't know if you could tell. So again, don't take that as I hate this show. I have enjoyed aspects of it and I have disliked aspects about it. I think, like Star Wars Andor, it has a lot of potential. It just, as of yet, has not reached that potential. And it is a little frustrating because I love the character of She-Hulk from the comics. And I'm pretty much enjoying what Tatiana Maslany is doing with the character here. And I want other people to also adore this character. But until this show really gets good, she's just not going to get the same kind of fan base that someone like Wanda has. But fingers crossed. I want this show to be a success. I want it to be great. I want it to end on a huge 10 out of 10 episode. And I want the next time that She-Hulk shows up in whichever movie it may be, I want people to cheer. I want people to be excited to see her. So fingers crossed. I will see you all on the next episode, and that's about it.